There are moments when everything around you changes abruptly. These are not errors of perception. What if you were actually moving between different realities without realizing it? Parallel realities are not a concept reserved for science fiction. They are part of a broad field of research that explores quantum physics and demonstrates the possibility of infinite versions of reality existing simultaneously. I will now prove to you that they exist, because this video is just such a message from another universe. But how does that affect your life? Perhaps in a much more direct way than many imagine. Every decision, thought, and emotion can create an imperceptible shift, a pathway that leads you to a new version of yourself and the world around you. Often these transitions are subtle, almost unnoticed. But sometimes they can be so profound that they completely challenge your understanding of what is real. Understanding the nature of parallel realities means realizing that the present is not fixed but malleable. The version of you that is here now may not be the same as it was a minute ago. In this constant movement lies the power of transformation. A shift in your perception can completely change the direction of your life and align you with a higher version of yourself. How do these realities manifest in your daily life? And more importantly, how can you tell if you have already shifted into a new reality? Today you will discover the signs that you have shifted into a parallel reality. Perhaps you have already moved into a different reality without realizing it. The deeper you dive into this topic, the more you will start to realize that the essence of your life is shaped by these invisible changes that are constantly nudging you towards your true potential. If everything around you can change so subtly that you barely notice it, what is really happening to your reality? The idea of parallel realities may seem complex, but at its core, it suggests that life is not linear. Instead, we are constantly navigating different versions of reality, shaped by our choices, thoughts, and emotions. Imagine your life as a vast sea of possibilities, each wave representing a new version of your reality. As you make choices, these waves reorganize, creating a new path. This path may be almost identical to the previous one or completely different. What defines this transition is the state of our consciousness, and often we only become aware of the change after it has already taken place. Quantum physics gives us a powerful analogy to understand how these transitions happen. In essence, it teaches us that the universe is made of probabilities. Every event, every decision, generates a range of probabilities that may or may not manifest in the reality you are currently living in. Simply put, what you perceive as the present is only one version of an infinite number of possible realities. When you wake up in the morning and decide to change a habit, you may be laying the foundation for a transition between realities. However, this transition does not manifest abruptly, but subtly, almost like the transition from one scene to the next in a movie. This is where the concept of continuity comes into play. Just as a movie is made up of individual images projected at high speed to create the illusion of continuous motion, your life also appears to be a linear sequence of events. In reality, however, you move through different images of reality every second. What maintains this illusion of continuity is your mind, which connects these fragmented moments and interprets them as a coherent narrative. These constant transitions are natural, and often you experience them without even realizing it. For example, if you notice a slight change in your surroundings, something doesn't seem to be in its place, an object seems to be in a slightly different position than where you left it, you may have actually shifted into a new reality. These seemingly insignificant changes can be subtle signs that you are moving between these parallel realities. And though these transitions may seem small, their impact on your life can be profound. Understanding this concept is crucial to realizing just how much you can actually shape your own experience. You are not just a passive observer of reality. On the contrary, you are an active creator who constantly influences the various realities unfolding around you. Every decision you make, no matter how insignificant it may seem, has the power to usher you into a new reality. But this understanding leads to a fundamental question. If we are constantly switching between these realities, how can we harness this power for our personal growth? How can we align with the version of ourselves we truly want to be? In this journey of self-discovery, learning to recognize these moments of transition can be the first step in consciously transforming your reality. If you pay attention to the little details in your life, you may start to notice that from time to time something doesn't seem to fit. Maybe you're absolutely sure of where you put your keys, but suddenly you find them in a different place. Or maybe you have the inexplicable feeling that something in your environment has changed, even though at first glance everything looks the same. These small adjustments in reality can be one of the subtlest signs that you are shifting between different versions of the world around you. These changes, no matter how small they may appear, carry a deeper meaning. When a parallel reality comes into play, what may seem like a simple dissonance, something out of place, a sense of discontinuity, can be a direct indication of a transition into another reality. In that moment, you are no longer exactly where you were before. Think of your life as a series of paths, each leading to a different destination. Every decision you make, every choice you take, every emotion you feel traces these paths. But some deviations are so small that they go unnoticed, as if you slightly adjust the direction without realizing it. Yet even these micro-adjustments can put you on a completely new course. I'm happy for you that you've been with us on this journey so far. If this video has touched your heart or brought you new insights, it would be wonderful if you would really support us. You can become a channel member to do that. It's easy to do via the link in the description below this video. Then you can see all new videos before they are public for everyone else. If you choose to do that, thank you. After all, we are all here to grow and learn together, and your support is the light that illuminates our path. These movements can be as simple as a feeling of déjà vu, a sense that you have experienced this moment before, but with a slight difference. It is as if you are reliving a slightly different version of the present. Sometimes the changes are so subtle that they only become apparent over time, when you notice a series of small alterations in your daily life. Beyond objects being in different locations, there are moments when you feel a shift in your own energy. You may wake up one day with an inexplicable sense of clarity, a renewed sense of purpose, as if something inside you has suddenly aligned. These are signs that something has changed internally and your external reality is beginning to reflect that change. Recognizing these shifts is the first step in understanding just how much you actually influence your reality. It's not just noticing that a key is lying in a different place, but realizing that these small adjustments can be signs of a much larger transformation. These subtle movements are happening all the time, and the more aware you become of them, the more you can use that awareness to consciously craft your future. By aligning yourself with these changes and recognizing that they indicate a transition, you can begin to make more conscious choices. Instead of just reacting to the world around you, you become a creator of your own reality. Paying attention to the details helps to strengthen your connection to the version of yourself that you want to be, making the process of personal development something tangible and present. However, observing these small transitions requires more than mere attention. It is necessary to be present and aware in the moment. Often, we are so absorbed in our daily routines that we fail to notice the subtle changes around us. When you start to wonder what is different or why something seems out of place, you open a new door of perception. This doorway leads to a deeper understanding of how your reality is constantly adjusting, shaped by your choices and intentions. The more you attune to these signs, the more you come into alignment with the parallel version of yourself. Every slight adjustment in reality is an opportunity for reflection. So when you notice something that doesn't quite fit, try to think about it. How does this change reflect who I am becoming? It is in this state of awareness that the true power of transformation begins to emerge. Sometimes you may recall an event from the past with total clarity, only to discover later that it didn't happen exactly as you remembered it. This phenomenon, in which memories change or adjust in unexpected ways, can be a sign that you have transitioned between parallel realities. When we transition into a new reality, our memories can subtly adjust, creating a new narrative of the past that seems familiar but isn't exactly the same as before. Our memory is not an exact record of events, rather, it is highly malleable. The brain reconstructs memories each time we access them. This means that we may change small details of a memory every time we recall it. What once seemed clear and unchanging can suddenly seem hazy or even different. This is known in neuroscience as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and change by reorganizing neural connections in accordance with new experiences and information. However, this ability to reconstruct is not only a feature of the human mind, but also a way to adapt to the new reality in which we find ourselves. If we consider the concept of parallel realities, this takes on a new dimension. If you experience a subtle change in your lifeline every time you change reality, it makes sense that your memories also undergo adjustments. The event that seemed clear to you before may have different details in a new reality. What's even more intriguing is that these changes don't happen abruptly. They're so gentle that you may not even realize that something has changed at first, until you encounter a new version of that memory. This phenomenon is often associated with the idea of false memories, where you are certain that something happened a certain way, but when you check the details, they are different. A popular example of this effect is the so-called Mandela effect, in which large groups of people remember an event or fact differently than it is recorded. These divergent memories often create unease because they challenge the concept of continuity and stability. However, this phenomenon is not just a psychological curiosity, it reveals the malleability of our perception. The brain's plasticity shows us that our minds are constantly restructuring and reorganizing memories based on our new understanding of reality. This doesn't mean that our memories are false or invalid, but that they are dynamic interpretations shaped by both our own experiences and the present context. These small adjustments could be signs that you are accessing a memory from a new reality, in which certain aspects of the past have been reinterpreted or reorganized to align with your current version of yourself. The more you pay attention to these moments, the more apparent it becomes how fluid the perception of the past can be. This transformation is not only happening around you, but also within yourself, affecting how you connect with your own memories. The big question is, to what extent is the past you remember set in stone? If each new version of reality brings with it new interpretations of what has already occurred, then what really is the past? By understanding how malleable our memories are, we also realize that we are not prisoners of what we believe has happened. Just as the present is flexible, so too can the past be viewed from a new perspective. This understanding gives us power. When we grasp this, we can learn to release the shackles that the past imposes on us. Stories of pain, regret, or frustration can be reframed. You can free yourself from old narratives that hold you back, knowing that the past you remember is only one version of many. And just as reality adapts, you can choose which version of the past you want to carry with you. Furthermore, science shows us that when we recall memories, certain neural networks are activated. As your consciousness expands and changes, these networks are also modified. Each time you recall a memory, it is edited based on your current state of consciousness. So the perception of the past becomes a reflection of who you are today, rather than just who you were at the time the event occurred. Realizing that the past can change as your reality shifts is truly liberating. It allows you to view your personal history as more fluid, not as something that defines who you are, but as a collection of experiences that can be reinterpreted. And as you continue to evolve and change, your memories also adapt to match your new reality. At certain moments, reality seems to suddenly break, as if something no longer fits into the expected sequence of events. These moments of discontinuity, when the normal course of things seems to falter without logical explanation, can be clear signs that you have shifted into a parallel reality. Moments when something drastic has been narrowly avoided, leaving you perplexed as if the sequence of events has been skipped or adjusted, can also be seen as a sign of a shift into a parallel reality. And perhaps, on a deeper level, that is exactly what has happened. These breaks in continuity are not mere coincidences or gaps in perception, but may be signs that you have switched to a new version of reality at the quantum level, a reality in which, for example, a disaster has been avoided. This suggests that at a potentially momentous event, your consciousness made a quick transition to a reality in which the outcome was different from what originally seemed inevitable. These transitions can happen so suddenly that the mind struggles to explain what happened. You might ask yourself, how did I get out of that situation so quickly? Or why does this feel so surreal? When we are confronted with such events, our logical mind may try to find an explanation, but often there is no rational answer that fully satisfies our doubts. This feeling that something is amiss may be an indication that you have made an abrupt change between realities and jumped into a line in which the tragic or dramatic outcome did not occur. These moments of discontinuity are especially common in extreme risk situations, such as near misses or emotional crises, in which the intensity of the event seems to break the ordinary flow of time. There are reports of people who, in near-death situations, experienced a moment of suspension in which time seemed to slow down or even stop, and then suddenly everything returned to normal, as if nothing dangerous had happened. These episodes could be reflections of quantum leaps to another level of reality. This notion is deeply connected to the understanding that different outcomes are possible in each parallel reality. In one reality, the accident could have happened, while in another you escaped unscathed. When you go through moments of great emotional or physical intensity, your consciousness may be in an elevated state of receptivity, facilitating this transition between realities. What at first glance may seem like an inexplicable event could actually be a reflection of a shift to a version of your life in which the outcome was more favorable. If you feel this video has had any value for you so far, I would be happy if you share that value with a donation through the Super Thanks button below the video, as much as it feels right and fair for you. Every gesture of appreciation is a precious gift for me, and it is your donations that make all of this possible. These breaks in continuity can also serve as powerful reminders that reality is not as solid as it seems. The rigidity we often ascribe to our everyday experience might just be an illusion. When these events occur, they challenge us to rethink our beliefs about what is real and how reality can be shaped. This opens up a new dimension of possibilities. If you can shift into a reality where tragedy was avoided, what else might you change or influence in your own life? So remember, those inexplicable moments of discontinuity can be seen as opportunities for awakening. They force us to stop and reconsider the world around us and the role we play in creating the experience. Rather than fearing or dismissing them, we can learn to see them as portals to new possibilities, to new pathways of existence that are constantly available to us. Now that you recognize the subtle signs of transition between realities, small adjustments in everyday life, changes in perceptions of the past, and breaks in continuity, an important question arises: what can you do with this knowledge? Consciously identifying these signs gives you the power to take control of your experience. Knowing that reality is fluid, that time and events are not immutable, allows you to see life as a field of infinite possibilities. This perception changes the way you interact with the world, because now, instead of being a passive spectator of events, you become the active creator of your destiny. To shape the reality you want to live in, it is important to be in tune with the present moment. The now is the only tangible reality, the point of power from which all future possibilities are formed. When you connect with the moment, you align yourself with your ability to transform what is to come. By paying attention to what is happening now, your emotions, thoughts, and actions, you begin to direct the energy of your consciousness towards the reality you want to manifest. One of the most effective ways to take control of your reality is through the practice of visualization. By imagining the ideal version of yourself, you begin to create a mental map that guides your actions and behaviors. Visualization is not just a positive thinking technique, it is a powerful tool for creation. When you visualize, your brain begins to create new neural networks that reflect this image of you and make this ideal version more accessible and real. The key here is to visualize in a detailed and emotionally engaging way, allowing yourself to feel as if you are already living this desired reality. In addition to visualization, it is crucial to adopt consistent daily habits that reflect this new version of you. Small actions performed with intention have a cumulative effect. For example, if you want to align with a reality in which you are healthier, you start by making small adjustments, such as healthy eating habits or a regular exercise program. These habits, even though they may seem simple, begin to shape your perception and eventually change your reality. Over time, these actions become a natural part of who you are, and the new reality you seek begins to tangibly manifest. Another fundamental aspect of consciously choosing your reality is paying attention to your emotional state. Emotions are powerful signposts that indicate whether you are in alignment or out of alignment with the reality you desire. When you are emotionally attuned to the reality you want, you will find that the path to that reality unfolds more smoothly. The concept that we are constantly in a state of transition, shifting between different realities, can be seen as a natural part of the process of personal growth. Life is essentially a continuous cycle of transformation. The version of you that existed a year ago is no longer the same, and the version of you that will exist in the future is shaped by the choices you make today. Every transition, no matter how small, is a step toward a new reality, and the more aware you are of these changes, the more you can direct them in line with your goals and desires. And when you understand that these transitions are natural, it brings a sense of peace. Instead of resisting change or feeling lost in moments of discontinuity, you can learn to accept it as part of the evolutionary process. Life is not a straight and stable line, it is a constant flow, and every change is an opportunity for recalibration and realignment with the reality that most resonates with your true self. The power to choose your reality doesn't mean trying to control every detail, but rather becoming aware that in each moment you are shaping the world around you with your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This knowledge is liberating, because when you understand that reality doesn't happen to you, but responds to you, you free yourself from feeling powerless. So remember, the power is in your hands. Every day, with every decision, you can align yourself more closely with the ideal version of yourself. And as you do, you'll begin to see the world around you adjust to reflect this new reality.